And that's what we try to do here, make that connection.
I was born and raised in Turkey, and until my teenage years I was a Muslim myself. I'm keenly aware of the concerns of Muslim people all over the world about Islamophobia, etc. But at the same time, I think as people who have some understanding of history, we have to acknowledge that both Christianity and Islam had grown in lands by conquering over people, killing people, and destroying religions. Much of this happened in Africa also. So we can pretend that Islam is the big victim in the world today, but Muslims have been victimized for a long time, and I'm not sure if they actually stopped. And today there are more Christians being persecuted in different parts of the world, mainly India and China, by the numbers. But as somebody who has some understanding of anthropology and history and some concern for prehistory, we have to acknowledge that I think we do. Many other forms of religions, other than forms of monotheism, had existed on this planet for a long time, and the world didn't come to an end. Yeah. Also, both Islam and Christianity are religions that favor an agricultural view of life. It's embedded into them somehow, and pro-natalistic outlook. And these are not shared by a lot of hunter-gatherer societies of whom we are descendants. Now, I don't know how the stories of mice apply to us, but I guess we should have a better understanding that as hunters and gatherers, our species was far less dangerous on this planet, and they had far fewer wars, and their wars were far less bloody. If you keep continuing in the agricultural and accentuated and industrial agricultural ways of living, I'm not certain if we have a good prospect of leaving a planet cleaner than we found it. I'm not sure if we are there at this point. I'm not sure if you can gain it in the near future. But our ancestors certainly did develop cleaner. Through hundreds of thousands of years of past, they never caused the kind of harm that we caused in the last 300 years. Maybe another point that has to be made is that there are people who are, let's say, accommodationists. A lot of Westerners want to accommodate China. They want to accommodate the Islamic world. And part of this has to do with the fact that they can do a lot of business this way. Oh, you have oil, we have weaponry. We'll sell you weaponry, you give us oil. Let's live in peace. This is a gradual degradation continuing on the planet. And a lot of non-Muslims, non-capitalists, non-whatever, non-Westerners are paying for it through the degradation in their environment. Same thing with China. The fact that some of us in the West, whatever, I'm not a part of it, but anyway, can be accommodationists, maybe it's not such a great thing for us to celebrate ourselves on. In the long run, maybe this is not a viable thing either. We can have wars, or we can have this kind of mutual agreement on making the world worse and worse for future generations. Now, once again, I want to be explicit that I don't necessarily buy into the mouse experiment, because I don't think we have the kind of capacity that mice have to pass down certain things to future generations, unfortunately. But there's also the analogy, which I also don't buy into, which is a frog being gradually cooked on a frying pan. If it's too gradual, it doesn't jump off, supposedly. I hope as human beings we can do better than that. Thank you.
All right. Well, Seyn gave us a lot to think of. I don't know whether anyone would like to respond. All right. Okay, we'll end up thinking about how do we change from being frogs in hot water. Okay, could help me here.
So that was a lot, but I think it is extremely problematic to pinpoint that know, is the cause of catastrophe and of wars, right? Because fascism, some, you know, forms of government have caused wars, bloody wars, that have killed thousands, maybe even millions of people that have had nothing to do with religion. And like the war on terror, which has killed 1.9 million people in Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan. Just this weekend, the United States stormed Somalia, killing 150 people in, you know, just one day for no reason and, you know, it's really disheartening to hear people say, well, Muslims are the only ones being oppressed. We're not, you know? If you turn on the TV, you'll see that like our black brothers and sisters in this country are being shot by an over-militarized police force, right? So I'm not about, you know, comparing oppressions because I don't think we're going to win that way. I'm about us working together and figuring out the root causes that are like impacting all of our communities and working together to dismantle them, right? For me, what I think is one of those root causes is American militarism, right? Which has killed millions of people overseas for more than a decade, and this over-militarization of our police forces, where it looks like you're in the middle of a war zone in Ferguson, like in Ferguson, Missouri, like that's unacceptable, right? So trying to pinpoint how we can support each of our communities, regardless of religious faith or national identity, in our collective liberation, right? And how we're going to work to that point. And that's where I want to end up on, because yes, peace is, like Jenna said, you know, like that's a nice thing to imagine and to think about, but we're at a point where like real struggle and real work is necessary, and we can't be out here like marginalizing ourselves amongst ourselves in like the individual movements that we're a part of. And we need to make sure that we're all supporting each other and also not, you know, comparing oppressions. That's not going to get anywhere. We can talk about racial hierarchies in the United States and how that benefits some of us, and how anti-blackness, which this country is built on, definitely marginalizes the Black American community in this country. So I do want to like make sure I'm not erasing that, but we also do need to work together and not pinpoint that like, oh well, you guys, you're not that marginalized, or you know, like that's not going to get us anywhere.
I just wanted to tell like about the Islamophobia a little bit, like as a representative of Turkish Cultural Center, I want to say that our organization signed the United Nations document. I think she will correct me if I'm wrong. That the cancer of I don't know, maybe of the whole world is right now ISIS, which we signed that this bunch of group, let's say, is genocide group. So we proudly say that we signed under it, and we even, how to say, we don't even count that ISIS as a Muslim, as a representative of Islam. So relationship between Islam and Christianity and Jewish it's like a whole family. It's Abrahamic religions. So we have to learn to live in peace together.
like to come up?
I can just speak here.
Okay, bring it.
I just wanted to clarify, what we signed this morning was, there was a declaration to, Secretary of State, John Kerry to, declare in America that we consider, whatever ISIS is doing overseas, in the Middle East is genocide. It's just a coincidence that it happened today. We consider that as genocide, and we joined with them to, we were petitioning to get it recognized in the United States as genocide. Why this is significant is, I couldn't get his name, but he was saying he's from Turkey. I am from Turkey also, and he was seeing religion. As far as I'm seeing that, I couldn't get it. I couldn't hear well, but religious groups are supposedly, are the cause of much of the violence in the history, which was being said. I liked what Iran said. She said that it doesn't matter, Muslim, whatever, whoever we are. Some of us here could be non-believers in any form of God that there is, but all of us have something here in common that we say, I get that from my religion. Somebody could get that from their ethical education or whatever they have, that they believe, there should be peace and, there should be education that is spread amongst us, I get that from my religion. And what she also said that came to my mind was, maybe there was so much violence because, yes, human beings have a tendency for violence when they don't have the proper education. I have 2 little sons. If I do not educate them to be kind people from the very young age, they might be oppressing somebody when they grow up. And if they have power, they will use that to oppress groups of people, nations, whenever they gain power. Like, let's see, Hitler, right? We know from history that he oppressed millions of Jews and caused them to, he started the genocide on them. So this is what comes to mind as a Muslim. I get that from my religious education, from what I understand of what God tells me, that I need to be a peaceful person, and I need to bring up children who are kind and peaceful human beings, so that they do not grow up to oppress other people. And maybe there was so much violence from the people who are so-called, let's say, Christian oppressors or Muslim oppressors, because maybe in the past mostly these were the types of people we had mostly people from these beliefs. But I don't see anywhere in the Christian religion or the Muslim religion or the Jewish religion that God tells people to be violent, or their prophets tells them to be violent. So I'd like to make that clarification that I do not agree with that. Thank you.